Uy, meron akong kwento!
Are you ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Alright, good day class. Welcome again in our class, or online class for today. We are now in quarter 2, week 2, module 2, with the topic of faults and earthquakes. Last week, we have discussed what is earthquake all about and what are the different types of faults and what are the reasons why there is an earthquake and there is a fault. For today, we are divided the topic into 4. Number 1, the epicenter versus focus. Number 2, the PEIS. In our lesson 3, active versus inactive fault. And lesson 4, fault and our country. So are you ready to listen, class? If you are ready, prepare your notes, pen, and ready to listen for our today's topic. So let's have the learning competency. In today's topic, we have to differentiate the epicenter of an earthquake from its focus. We need to differentiate also the intensity of an earthquake from its magnitude and active and inactive fault. So if you're ready to learn more, let's have first a game that we need to match the underlying word to their corresponding meaning. So number 1, even with my cell phone on silent, the vibration was enough to distract me. So the underlying word is vibration, which among the 3 in the column B is the correct answer. If your answer is letter B, very good. Say vibration, it is the movement. Number 2, in seismology, several types of surface waves are encountered. So what is the meaning of the word seismology? Very good. That is letter A. So when we say seismology, it is the science or study of earthquake and their phenomena. Number 3, he fell and fractured his skull while skateboarding. So what is the meaning of the word fractured? Definitely the answer is letter C. We say fractured, it is broken and cracked. So what is the relation of these words in our topic? So these words are very important because we will encounter these words all throughout our discussion. This is the vibration, seismology, and fracture. Let's begin with the lesson 1, epicenter versus focus. So when we say epicenter, class, it is the point on the Earth's surface that is vertically above the focus. So you can find the epicenter in an Earth's surface or in an Earth class that is vertically above the focus. So what do you mean by focus? Focus, focus, it is the exact point inside the grass. Meaning to say, nasa loob siya ng grass where a tremendous amount of energy release. So again, focus can be found inside the grass. So for you to imagine, for you to see the location of this epicenter and focus, the epicenter is the point on the ground directly above the focus. Kitang-kita naman that the focus where the earthquake begins is under the epicenter. Okay, another, there is a fault and a weak point on the tectonic plate where the pressure within the glass is released. Okay, so let's move on. Alright, now let's proceed to the activity 1.1, the epicenter versus focus. The direction of this activity, we need to analyze the given diagram showing the seismic waves spreading out. Okay, this is the illustration of seismic wave. It's spreading out from the focus of an earthquake. So all you need to do is to label each block of desired information. Okay, so there is an information beside, and all you need to do is to label which part of the diagram it is located. Okay. Number 1 information is the epicenter is the point on the surface directly above the focus. So, nasa ng epicenter? Very good. That is in letter B. Second statement or information is structure farther from the epicenter experience less shaking and less damage. Sa tingin dyan, based sa illustration, saan dyan yung less lang yung shaking at less lang yung damage? Your answer is letter A. Very good analysis. Next, the earthquake begins at the focus. Let's see. Very good. Kakaturo lang. Focus is in the middle, like what I presented another illustration a while ago. Next, structure near the epicenter experience more shaking and more damage. Saan dyan yun? Kitang-kita naman sa illustration. That is in letter C. There's a lot of damage happened. So last, the seismic wave is spread out in all directions from the focus. You can find in letter E, meaning to say seismic waves started in the focus and spread out, not just in one direction, but in all directions kung saan man siya abutin. Okay, congratulations that we can able to label each the desired information on the illustration. Congratulations. Let's proceed to the lesson to the PEIS. So the meaning of PEIS is a PHIVOLCS, Earthquake Intensity Scale. So anong ibig sabihin nito? Again, once again, when we say PHIVOLCS, this is the responsible in monitoring the earthquakes and different movements of crust in our country. So first, let us define what is seismograph. As you can see, there's a line. It is the device used to measure how the intensity of an earthquake. Yan, siguro, as you can see class, the more lines, the more intense the earthquake, the more shaking. Okay, so what do you mean by the magnitude? It is the total amount of energy released by an earthquake. Okay, malilito between magnitude and the intensity. Intensity, it is determined by how much damage has occurred and the amount of shaking experienced by the people in a particular area. Okay, so we just define the magnitude and intensity. So this is the modified Mercalli scale, and counterpart na yung Richter scale gives us, so what is the meaning of this? So modified Mercalli scale is just simply measuring the magnitude of an earthquake, and the Richter scale, sabi natin kanina, it measures how intensity of what happened, of the damage affected by an earthquake. So basically, in number one, it felt by almost no one. There's a 2.5, generally not felt, but recorded on the seismometers. Siguro may mga ganyan sa 1 and 2 na may earthquake pala. Naramdaman na iba, pero hindi naman daman ng iba. And sa Richter scale, naka-record pa din siya. And it is just a you notice, pataas siya, ng pataas, and habang tumataas yung level, mas nagiging great o magiging malaki yung epekto sa surrounding o doon sa area. So, it is hanggang 12, the total destruction waves seen on ground surface, kitang-kita na, objects or trembles and toss. Intensity 8, great earthquakes and up. Grabe, no? Intensity 8. Yung last time, a destructive earthquake, yung nakaranasan natin nga nung sa Tanawan, Batangas last Christmas. Naranasan nila doon. Alright, once again, let's have some review between magnitude and intensity. Magnitude, it is the energy released by an earthquake at the focus. It is calculated from earthquakes recorded by an instrument called seismograph. Once again, seismograph is the device used to measure the magnitude. While intensity, it is the strength of the earthquake perceived and felt by people in a certain locality. And sa area na yun, kung anong gano'n yung naramdaman nila dun sa pinakita ko kanina na table, kita nyo kung gaano kalakas yung intensity. And intensity is generally higher near the epicenter. The closer your location in the epicenter, the higher the intensity. Pag mas malapit, mas malakas yung magiging epekto, mas marami no? Nagiging epekto ng lindol. Pag mas malayo, of course, hindi masyadong dapa, mas maunti lang epekto sa tao and also the surrounding. Okay, did you get that class? Okay, let's have the activity 1.2, intensity versus magnitude. So analyze the given table and answer the question that follow comparison of earthquake magnitude and intensity. Okay, so once again, just a review. So the magnitude or the Richter scale is the one who measures the magnitude, and intensity, that is the Mercalli scale. Okay, if you notice, final blue, this is the diagram because this is related with our activity number 1.2. So the question, what does the Richter scale measure? Kasasabi ko lang, anong pinameasure ng Richter scale? Magnitude or in earthquake intensity? Very good, it is the earthquake's magnitude. So how can scientists use the magnitude and intensity data for earthquake? Kaya parang ginagamit ng scientists ito, ng mga seismologists. Definitely, scientists measures both the energy release of an earthquake and its damage. The 12 points modified Mercalli intensity scale describe how an earthquake is felt and the damage that it causes. The higher the Mercalli number is the more damage found in the area. Question number 3. On a modified Mercalli scale, if an earthquake has an intensity, okay, pag sa intensity, we see the modified Mercalli scale, what kind of damage and field observations can one expect to see or feel pag intensity number 10? So what is the answer? Many. Very good. Many structures destroyed. Ground is badly cracked. Very good. Next, let's proceed with question number 4. Why it's important to know the magnitude and intensity of an earthquake? Alright, it is because magnitude and intensity measures the different characteristics of earthquakes. Magnitude measures the energy released at the source of the earthquake, while intensity, it is determined from the effect on people, human structures, and the natural environment. Tandaan class ha, pag yung magnitude, ang sinusukat niya, it measures the release kung gaano kalakas yung energy from the source of an earthquake. While the intensity, you will see, you will observe the effect on people, human structures, and of course the natural environment. Alright, let us see if you really understand our first lesson. What you need to do is to fill in the blank. Fill the correct word, choose your answer from the box below. We will just complete the sentences. Okay, number 1, the point directly above the focus is what we called, ang tawag natin dun kanina. Very good, that is the epicenter. While blank is the zone in which within the earth where rock displacements happen and cause an earthquake. Ang tawag doon, the zone within the earth where rock displacement happens. Okay, that is the focus where thus the earthquake started. Next, blank is the strength of force generate an earthquake. O yung strength of force, kung gaano kalakas yung earthquake. That is the magnitude, right? While blank is the damages, tandaan that's effect of the earthquake as a free perceived by an observer or the people around. Very good, that it is integrity. Now you can be able to differentiate the epicenter and the focus and also the magnitude from intensity. Now let us proceed to the next lesson. Active versus inactive fault. Simple question. Can we predict earthquakes? According to the seismologists, cannot predict the time and date in which an earthquake may occur. Natin malalaman kung kailan at kung anong oras. But they can predict the places that an earthquake will occur due to the presence of faults. Meaning to say, malalaman natin kung saan magkakaroon ng earthquake based doon sa mga fault sa ating sa fault doon sa location ng area na yun. So, meaning to say ba, sir, pag may fault, there is a possibility of earthquake? Let us see, class. But first, let us analyze or let us define the active versus inactive fault. So, when we say active fault, it is a fault line with a seismic activity for less than 10 years. Active fault ang tawag po doon. When we say inactive fault, there is a crack or a fault line with no seismic activities for 1,000 years or more. Inactive na siya. Pag 1,000 year or more, hindi na siya nagkaroon ng record ng seismic activities. So, ganun lang kadali. So, lesson 4, where does the faults in our country located? Our country, which is an archipelago, consists of numerous numbers of faults. Our country also lies in the Philippine Plate and also within the Pacific Ring of Fire, like what we had discussed in Module 1. Kasama ang Pilipinas sa Pacific Ring of Fire, kaya madalas na nakaka-experience tayo ng earthquake compared to the other countries. Metro Manila, yes, it is within the reach of Marikina Valley Fault. That is why we are having extreme precautionary drills and activities to avoid casualties if the expected earthquake hits. That is the reason why we are always have a drills nung may pasok pa tayo halos every month for us to become prepared in upcoming earthquakes, because in Metro Manila we have fault that is located in Marikina. Alright, where are the other faults in the Philippines? Ayan. Okay, these are the list of active faults in the Philippines. Of course, the Marikina Valley Fault, we have Western Philippine Fault, Eastern Philippine Fault, the Central Philippine Fault, the Northern Luzon Fault, Southern Mindanao Fault, Masbate Island Fault, Eastern Mindanao Fault, Bondok Peninsula Fault Zone, and Infanta Fault Zone. As you notice, in different places in our country, there is a fault. That's why we can experience faults once in a while. So how can they predict the places in which an earthquake will occur? Sabi natin kanina, they can predict the places in which an earthquake will occur due to the faults present on a certain place. Letter A, if there's a fault line, then a large earthquake already occurred on that place that created the fault, and it may happen again. Meaning to say, if there's a fault line, there is a history of earthquake experience on that location or in that area that can be happen again. Pwedeng maulit, may fault line na, may history na, at pwede pang may repeat comeback yung earthquake. Kaya baby, if there is no fault line, then there haven't been a large earthquake on that place. Sabihin, wala pang record ng earthquake on that area. Kahit po. Alright. So let us remember this. So, to summarize our lesson for this day, number one, let us not forget that the earthquake is a sudden and violent shaking of the ground, sometimes causing a great destruction. So that is what we call intensity as a result of movement within the Earth's crust or volcanic action that is related. Okay? So it's a fracture. Diba? Break, sabi natin kanina. Or zone of fractures between two blocks of rocks. Ayun tawag ng fault. So the greater the energy in the surface area of the fault, the greater the magnitude of an earthquake. Sabihin, patanda natin kanina, na pag malakas yung energy dito sa surface area, mataas din yung magnitude because it can measure the energy. Magnitude is measuring the energy of an earthquake. Next, the release of energy of an earthquake is concentrated in a fault line or fault plane. Consider the epicenter, on the other hand, where the seismologists locate the origin of the earthquake, is exactly on the top of the focus. Kaya, sabi ng mga seismologists, dun the epicenter can be found, the origin o yung pinagsimulan ng lindol. At yung epicenter ay matatagpuan sa ibabaw ng focus. Right? Active faults are considered as dangerous zones. Siyempre, for the past 10 years, sa record, o less than pa, may nangyari na, and sabi, it can be possible na maulit kasi active nga siya. So when we say inactive faults, on the other hand, may generate earthquakes hundreds years apart, also may not have moved within the record history of the area around the fault. So our country, as you all know, lies beside the Philippine Plate. Our country lies within the Pacific Ring of Fire. Kaya ganun talaga, nakakaranas talaga tayo ng lindol. Earthquakes locations can be identified by determining the fault line within our territory. Alaman natin na may possibility magkaroon ng lindol sa isang area dahil mayroong fault line. Okay? If you don't have any answer, And if you fully understand our lesson for today, I ask you to go to Google Classroom and click Stream, click the link for quiz. And after that, okay, if you are fully understand our lesson for this day, thank you and God bless you all.